Hello, seventh grade band. Here is your assignment for Thursday and Friday. Okay, I'm in our Schoology page and going to assignments, our orange digital learning folder for April 13th through April 17th, and then there'll be a new pink folder for the 16th and the 17th. Okay, so go into here, and then there'll be this PDF with our written instructions for the day. First off, we will start off with sight reading factory. You will complete another 4 measure sight reading factory exercise that is your warm up. Okay, that and the smart music assignment are both required. I want to make sure that everyone knows that you have to do both sight reading factory and smart music. Sight reading factory is like our warm up, and smart music is where we're actually putting skills and concepts into action. Okay, so in smart music for Thursday and Friday, we're going to work on a new concert piece called Abandoned Treasure Hunt. Okay, which is pirate themed, kind of like Ironclad. We're going to, I'm going to assign the beginning to, oh, not measure 7, that's a typo. I'm sorry, measure 13, beginning to measure 13. And just that section will be assigned in smart music. Right now, you're seeing more music than that. But actually, what will be in smart music is the rest of it will kind of be gray and you'll actually stop at 13. So if you are going, hitting the red record button and playing through, it will stop at measure 13. Okay. I'm going to kind of take you through notes for each instrument. Okay. But for a couple kind of more general things, it's slow at the beginning. And then it picks up at 13, but the section we're working on for this week is slow and it's in 4/4 time. The tempo marking says legato, so play everything nice and smooth. Okay. And this assignment is due on Saturday, April 18th by the end of the day. Okay. So as always, I have written instructions for different instrument sections, okay, but I'll take you through those on here as well. And I'm going to start at the top with the flutes, the fluty patooties, once it decides to load. Really, a lot of this is pretty straightforward, but while it's loading, let's see. Fast air for high C's in measure 8, make sure to hold the C eighth note tied to a half note for 2.5 counts. So here's the C's that I'm talking about. Use really fast air for that, flutes. And if you ever have trouble with fingerings, of course, you always got that fun tool. It's the same fingering as low C. Okay. And then here, 1 and 2 and you hold to the end of the measure. Okay. Because this tie, 2.5 counts. Okay. So that's flutes. I'm going to try to go through these pretty quick. Okay. Clarinets. Clarinets, there's a clarinet 1 and clarinet 2 part. Okay, so you can choose which one you want to play. Right away off the bat, you'll see we start off right away with a low B. Okay, is it B flat or B natural? Is it pointer finger or naughty finger? So these are things that you need to think about as you're playing. First off, do you see a flat there? Do you see a flat in your key signature? No, then it's probably B natural. Another way that you can double check that in smart music is you can click on the note. Boom, it's low B. Does that say pointer finger or naughty finger? Okay, so use these fingering charts to your advantage. Okay, and then I also talk about in my notes at measure 7 with these smooth eighth notes. They're kind of slurred in a weird way in groups of 3, even when the eighth notes are written in groups of 4. Okay, and it's a 3-note pattern: B C G B C G B C G. Okay, focus on the slurs there and really working on the slur from C to G. That might be a little tricky going from a bunch of fingers down to opening that up. Okay, and try to keep the eighth notes as steady as possible. Okay, second clarinet. Let's see if there's anything really big there. Loading, 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 loading now. Do, do, do. Okay. Clarinet 2 is kind of the same thing, except you start on low A, but you do have B naturals that come into play later. And then at 7, you're playing the same thing as the first. So again, more B naturals and that 3-group slur thing that I was just talking about. Okay. Next, let's see the alto saxophones. Okay. I also kind of talk about key signature with the altos. So let's see what we got there. Man, I wish my internet was working faster today. Sticky settings are here. I see that all day, every day. Okay. First off, you start with an F, F sharp or F natural. Look at your key signature. That'll have you the answer. And then X7, you guys have the same thing that the clarinets do. So the slurs kind of grouping in groups of 3. and try to keep the eighth notes as steady as possible throughout that. Okay. Horn. I'm actually going to skip tenor sax because tenor sax is kind of grooved with the low woodwinds and low brass. Okay, so and bass clarinet as well will be kind of with the low brass. Horn. The first beginning to measure 7 with horn is more with is kind of the melody part with the saxophones and the clarinets. Okay. And then at 7, you guys switch to kind of the low brass part. So faster on those high C's horns. And then at 7, make sure that especially your whole notes, holding them out full length. Okay. Now let's move on to the trumpets. There's a trumpet 1 part and a trumpet 2 part. In the trumpet 1 part, there's a new rhythm that I want to go over. Okay. And you guys are actually the main melody. So you have rest. Ba, 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 da, da. Okay. The way that we count this rhythm is it's 2 16th notes and then an 8th note. So that rhythm is 1 and the G is tied. Da 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 2 3 4. Okay. So make sure to hold that full length. We can also hear an example of that if we have my part clicked here at the top. If we have this turned on, and you'll be able to hear that. Okay, so that is how that's supposed to go. And then actually at 7 to 13, you guys have a lot of rest, but make sure to be counting your 3 measures of rest here and ready to come in on that part. Okay, for trumpet 2s, it needs to load, of course. Unfortunately, my coffee cup's empty right now. So this is normally when I take a coffee break. Okay, kind of similar to the trumpet ones, except you don't have that fun new rhythm. Okay, that should be pretty straightforward. Okay, now low brass. I'm not going to go through each individually, but a lot of the parts are very similar. Okay, the baritone and tenor sax part kind of line up, and then the trombone, tuba, and bass clarinet part are kind of the same. But really, right here, your guys' biggest concern is making sure that you're holding out long notes, like look at 7. Okay, long notes, full length. And anytime you have quarter notes, whether they're here or another spot, again, not all these parts look exactly the same, but those quarter notes are going to be important. So make sure to bring those out. Okay. All right. Last, percussion. For percussion, you guys should all be playing the bell part for this assignment because there is no snare drum part, and the percussion 2 and 3 parts are all auxiliary parts that you don't have at home. So you should be playing the bells part for this. And kind of looking over it, not too terribly difficult. It does have this rhythm that I actually talked about all the way back with the flutes, where you have this tied 8th note to a half note. So a half note is 2 counts, and an 8th note is a half a count. So if you tie those together, it's 2.5 counts. So you have rest, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4, and you have to let that ring until count 1. Okay? So, as always, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I hope that you enjoy working on this piece. It's a really fun piece. I actually did it years ago in my student teaching. I've never programmed it with a class that I've actually taught, but the students I taught with really enjoyed this. So I hope you guys enjoy this piece as well. Happy practicing.